this is what I wanted to talk with you about. Um, so because everything is becoming so so energetically intertwined, like I don't know, it is not intertwined, but everything is becoming like when we're
Right.
moving into a higher dimension,
Mhm.
everything is gonna be more and more felt. And because we are starting to become more alive in our body and connected with our body as spirit, as a soul, and everyone has their unique processes with that. And some people are not so much in it yet, and some people are more. And that's why for some people it resonates a lot when I share these kind of things about, dragons and Arcturians and these kind of multidimensional versions of us existing there, but here in the same time. But other people will not resonate with it, and they think you're crazy when you talk about multidimensionality. So anyway, what I wanted to say first of all, I think it's so good that we just talk and share like this, because I know that you also have so much as an Arcturian being. You have so much. You're such an old soul, such an evolved soul, and also like me, you have so much to share, I feel like. And I feel a lot in me, in you, with this thing about being like super sensitive, uh,
Mhm.
feeling everything in such an intense way, other people's thoughts, other people's emotions, other people's energies, and more like vibration, like vibrationally and energetically, in living in this world of energy. And it's quite hard for people like that who are really open to it, how to manage it. I have
I
my own
I
story with
think,
the transition process, but would you like to share something
yeah,
about?
no, well, the thing is, while I was listening to you, I was kind of thinking, first of all, the idea was just to have a conversation like we always do. And
Mm,
it's always so nice and so smooth if we don't think about, well, anyone else listening to. But at the same time, I think it's important to allow other people to listen to it because when I'm with you, I feel like, okay, I can relax. I can be more myself and just let my energy shine. And
mhm,
it feels like you were saying, we are so sensitive towards everything, and so I'm always overwhelmed. So when
mm,
I get to connect with people like for example like yourself and others like of our group, I feel like I can kind of take this weight off my shoulders and I can
yeah,
breathe and relax. So I was thinking before starting this chat with you, I was thinking, what can I put out there that can help anyone really feeling like I feel normally? And even if it's just one single individual, I'm saying like, okay, I'm shy, I don't want to do this, I don't want to be on camera. But I thought, what if I can just help one of the many that very likely feel like me? To create this network and this really nice connection for people who are struggling on a daily basis just to exist in this density with this heaviness.
mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember the first time when or I have, I've been working with healing many years, but it's something else when you start to open up this channel inside the body, and it's really like hard to have a vocabulary for it.
Oh,
Actually, maybe we need a new language for it, actually.
oh, we just need telepathy. It would be so much easier. You can just feel it, and that would be way more explanatory than any human word and human language. Because you're right. Sometimes when I'm trying to explain myself, I'm like, I can't find the words. Something you feel is not something you actually explain to people.
No, but a part of this process, of course, right now on Earth, I think people are more and more coming into this process of coming into their body,
Mm.
connecting with their spirit, their soul through the body, and that's a lot to do, because there's this, when we're moving up to a higher dimension from having been in a lower dimension for 12,000 years, then it's quite a lot to take in. It's quite a lot to
Right.
purge. And
Yes.
many people don't understand what they are going through, and have a hard time with it. Like I know myself, for example, 4 years ago, when I went to Atlantis in these memories and opened up and removed all these blockages in my body, which is whole another thing than just channeling healing. This is like living from inside the body as an energy being. And when I started opening up to that, I remember for me it was challenging because all I could do was to live in nature. That's why I lived in Norway, for half a year, in Sicily, and also in Åland, in Finland, in the island between Sweden and Finland, where I'm from, for a long time in nature. And all these places isolated from society, where I could just be by myself in nature for 1.5 year, because I couldn't survive even just going into a shop. Like, I could feel all the other people's murky energies, like
Exactly.
and like through my
I
body.
feel this is
And
what I feel right now. I just feel this need to isolate completely. It's overwhelming. It's like takes so much of my energy to just function as a normal human being every day. So I get it. I relate with that really highly. And
mm,
it's not easy. It's not easy to kind of keep it together and function as a normal citizen and interact with people. And you can't explain that to them why you feel the way you do or why you just want to go home and isolate and like, would you like to come to this place and that place? And you're like, no, really. I mean, all I want to do. And in my mind, it's like, I really would like to help, the collective. But at the same time, I don't want to deal with that. And I know it sounds awful, but I can't really, I don't have it. I don't have the energy to be out there every single day because, like you were saying, it's so dense. These frequencies are, oh, it's kind of suffocating sometimes. And
mm,
the isolation, being there, I'm there, the need to be in nature, that as well. And so, actually, like I always ask you, how do you kind of balance these two emotions? The the the, the, the need to isolate and this desire also to serve others.
mm. Yeah, that's why I in my transition process, before I came to where I'm now, I remember I was asking myself and the universe, my spirit guides, like whatever there is, like, how can I survive in this world? Like, you cannot exist like this forever. Like, I'm gonna die at some point, because this is not the way. If I'm gonna be around people, like, I cannot just isolate myself my whole life. This is crazy. But now, when I look back, I understand that it was a transition process, and that's why right now many people are feeling, for example, many people feel, how do you say, exhausted from work, because they have to stop that for a while if they can, because many people have to stop working completely. Not everyone has to do that completely, but some people have to
Mm.
do it completely, because they have to reshape their whole existence, like reshape their whole way of being. So you have to take time for yourself in order to do that. And now I understand myself, why I went through that, why I have to be isolated in nature, because it was the time that it needed to be. So now, my you can call it like my gift, that has, like, always the gifts are actually the burdens in life. What I also noticed, the
Yeah,
heaviness, the most difficult things in life that you are repeating and is hard to live with, is actually, it's actually related to your traumas, but it's also the gift. So when it's turned into a gift, it becomes your superpower instead. And for me, what helps me now, that's why I talk so much about the dragons, because I understand that most people don't understand. What do you mean dragons? It's like, hey, come on, we are human beings. Yeah, we are human beings, but the
sorry,
dragon,
the
what I
energy we're talking about, not just the figure of the actual
exactly,
being that we see in pictures. Is the energy of the dragon we're trying to describe,
exactly.
which is different.
And the best way I would describe it to make sense of it is the root chakra, the importance of the root chakra. Because if you have not cleared what's in the root chakra, the root, that's why it's called the root, is the base of everything. It's the root of everything. When you
Yeah.
go to the root chakra, that's where you can open up everything else from. And when you really go there and
I
really
think
work
I
with it,
think it's one of the areas when you are so sensitive and so galactic and so connected
exactly,
up there, then well, almost all the time you do have problems with the root chakra because it's the
exactly,
connection to this plane, it's the connection to this reality, to this 3D, thing going on. And for me, for example, I am all right from here and over there. But then when I actually need to ground myself, I mean, I do struggle. My root chakra, and this is why we were talking like about the energy of the dragon, that I needed to channel a little bit more and embrace a little bit more, because I'm lacking that fire to
Mm,
exist in this world without letting it get to me so much. And it does, because like you were saying, our gift is to be connected, to feel a little bit more, to be more aware of subtleties when it comes to energy and everything around us. So we keep picking up so much, but then how do you actually transmute those energies without them completely devastating you?
mm-hmm.
That is
Exactly. And it really seems like people like us who are super sensitive, who feel everything basically, and in our bodies, it's um, it's even more needed to have this uh, clearing, this root chakra connection, to know our connection to this planet, of to Earth, to the Earth, basically, is the key. Um, and when you know that more, you actually integrate your multidimensional gifts even more in this life, so you become actually more super galactic when you combine this this
because it's not, for me, it feels like the little piece that it needs a little bit of adjustment is this three-dimensional existence.
yeah.
Being multidimensional means just embracing them all and kind of bringing them to a neutral standpoint, if you will. And
Hmm.
to do that here with this physical body, that is quite a challenge. So
Yeah, exactly. And we are also like we are so used to in our society to be so much like controlling our body, our sensation in our body, instead of letting it free, instead of liberating our energy, our emotions, and our beingness in the body, and just letting that do its own thing without having the interference of
time
the mind.
interfere. Mhm.
And I think this is something that we have a lot, especially here in Nordic countries. Um, but so that's why, yeah, that's why it's really good to share experiences also with this.
I don't think we are used to feeling, to be honest.
Yeah.
We're used to identifying emotions,
Mm-hmm.
not your emotions. So when you ask the people, how did you feel? You really find how difficult it is for them to even explain to you what they're feeling or what
Mm-hmm.
they're feeling. They're like, I don't know, something like this or something like that. And when you ask them, just feel your body.
Mm-hmm.
This connection is so huge. People don't know what they feel. They just don't. It's so difficult to then bring to balance something you don't even know how to, that is existing inside of you, that is affecting you physically.
Mm-hmm.
Because then we're used to feel something physical and mute it immediately with some kind of something. We go see someone and it gives you something and it's gone, right? Kind of. It's not really gone, but you kind of take care of the symptoms. You don't take care of the reason why the symptoms are there, because the messages.
You know what? Yeah. Oh,
Everything is a message. It's a very silent call for, take a look at this. Take care
mm,
of that. But then in this society, we're rushing all the time. Who has
mm,
time to stop and listen to it and know what it means? So it's like babies trying to I don't know, do some kind of quantum physics. It's not going to work. You don't know what you're doing. It's just what I always say to people is just sit with it. No, don't try to send it away. Don't try to even make it go away. Just sit with it as you would sit with a friend. Have a chat.
mm.
What are you trying to tell me, right? But
Yeah.
that's the thing, and this is probably why the isolation is needed sometimes, because you need to sit with yourself.
You
And
know, it's so, yeah.
most society doesn't allow you to do that.
No, it's so interesting how also these traditions have to change. You know, the way we have learned about spirituality has all it also needs to change. Everything, all the practices, mindfulness practices, all the meditation practices, all the religions or philosophies, everything need to change in this Aquarian age. Because, like, I have one example. There was this woman who came to my to a session I did with her with energy work, because she was aware that she needed to clear something from her energy in her body, um, which when you have something that is like more stuck in the body and it's coming out more, that it's time to work with it and be aware of it, a shadow, but in as energy. Everything's energy in the body, and it wants when it comes out and it starts to take over you so much, when it requires your attention, it can make your mind go hammock. So she tried to do this in this old way of trying to meditate, to
Mhm.
try to silence her mind by focusing on one point or the breath. But when she did this session with me, which is all, it's kind of like this, hypnosis, whatever word I don't know what word I would call into it, but pretty much putting the body consciously going through the body and putting it into a 0 point state.
Mhm.
She said that it was the first time in her whole life where she didn't have any thoughts, and she's always struggling with that. So
Wow.
this is also explaining how this is,
Hmm.
you cannot
It's
anymore meditate in
that
this,
moment of stillness, yes.
because it's like the mind is almost like a separate entity in itself, that mind body. So it doesn't work with trying to silence it. You have to go in the body again and
Exactly.
relax, let go.
There is no way you can learn how to kind of have a good relationship with your mind. But I don't think, yes, you can have moments of complete stillness, but let's just face it, this is a human experience. The mind
Mm,
is part of this experience. So
yeah,
instead of trying to mute it all the time because you don't like what it's saying to you, it would be, in my humble opinion, much better to sit down and understand why it's talking so much, what it's trying to tell you, and make friends with it. Because
yeah.
you can coexist with it.
Mm,
Actually, be a good team. If you know how to train your mind, if you know how to kind of observe yourself from the outside, you're not your mind. That is pretty obvious. You're not your emotions. You're none of that. You're experiencing all of it. So in order to know yourself a little bit better, you need to face everything, good and
mm,
bad. So instead of trying to I do have people sometimes coming to me saying, I don't want to feel this
mm,
because it doesn't feel good, right? So there is this distinction already about people are a little bit addicted to just the positive emotions, right? And I get why. I mean, we don't want to struggle. No one wants to.
mm,
Sometimes it's just a bridge, to get to a better place. So even if
mm.
it's quite uncomfortable when it's happening and you kind of reject it continuously because it doesn't feel good, maybe you need to not to feel good for a moment. So
Yeah, exactly.
then you can understand what it means to feel good again. Or you
Yeah.
understand why you needed to go through certain things to kind of peel a layer of yourself. Maybe it's an old version of you that needs to die.
Mm,
So dying in rebirth continuously. I mean, we're not the same person we were like, I don't know, 2 months ago, maybe three. But it's always this new version of yourself being born over and over again. And I think if we embrace this rhythm of life, and because people like stability, they're so attached to this stability, they want to know. And I was like that. Oh, I wanted to know everything. It gave me this false sense of calmness. But if you surrender completely, what can happen?
mm-hmm.
What's the worst case scenario? What can happen?
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So, yeah, it's a very complicated and complex topic, I suppose, when it comes to releasing certain blockages. And if we're doing that, we need to understand them. If
Mm,
we don't, then we put everything inside this little box, and it's not really fixed. It's just put aside another time and just probably just under the rock, right? We don't want to see it, so we put a little bit on the side, and that's a subconscious thing that will haunt you anyways. So
mm.
feeling even the most uncomfortable things, and that's also how you connect with something higher, because all of
Yeah.
the things that we don't deal with, the way I feel it and see it is like a little bit of like a channel being blocked with different kind of things put in the middle. Like I want to put this box over here, that other box over there. So with the energy is flowing, what it does is kind of try to move through these obstacles. But
Mm,
you remove everything, the connection is way stronger. And I mean, I've been there many times when I've been dealing with emotional things and heavy stuff and kind of really, really looking at them and facing them. The moment I was doing that and I was actually integrating these different versions of myself, then I
Mm.
also have a way better connection and clearer connection with my higher self, which was,
Mm-hmm.
for me, it was completely surprising because kind of when I was down and really going through a dark moment, that's when I saw the light, right? I could
Yeah.
see something higher, something bigger than me, and I couldn't even understand what it was at that moment. But one thing that was very clear for me is through feeling that you open this gate. It's not through logic. It's not through the mind. It's not through not even this meditation and this mantra and this thing. I mean, it can help. Okay, it's fine, but it's not that.
It's
It's a tool that you can use to improve something, but it's also not always serving you. If you're obsessing with doing it that way only, it's not going to work. You need to find your own way of doing it.
mm-hmm.
And feeling is always the way. It doesn't matter how feeling is actually done by different people, because for me, feeling means one thing, and for others, it doesn't matter really, but just feel it.
Mm.
Oh, just feel it all. It's the language of the universe, really. Yeah.
Mm. Yeah, it's so funny, like it's like we don't, yeah, exactly. It's like it's actually very natural. And it's interesting because I've been through a process where, and this is what we're all doing, but in one way or another, different levels in our own unique ways. Some people maybe never do it and they will always get stuck, and that's what they, but anyway, everyone is kind of, you cannot judge people's journeys because everyone has a unique journey. But for me, it's really feels like the whole nervous system, like this vagus nerve that
Mhm.
controls everything and moves from inside the brain through all the organs, it's really change. It seems like that is changing completely, how we relate to our external situations and people, how we relate to them, how we react to it inside of us. It's like kind of less reactivity. It's interesting because like, but all these processes where you come to when that nervous system, your nervous system is changing into this more like this relaxed and less reactive, that's actually mean that you are more connected with your higher self, which is that eternal soul that you are, that knows who you are, what you're going through in life, and why. Because it's just presence, it's just is that peaceful calm state. But in the same time, it's not attainable if you try to attain that state. It's just attainable more and more if you clear layers of what you're not, and if you recognize what you are not in all the triggers. And the triggers are really good because they are indications of what, where, what's the direction, what you need to look at, what you need to feel. And it's all in the body. And but this is interesting thing, because even though I feel like I don't have a technique to how I work with energies, I kind of I guess I do, but it's really in the same time it's not, because all I'm really doing is letting go, consciously going through the body with my own awareness, just letting everything be as it is, and with my breath I'll just let go, let go, and allow the body to do its own thing.
Well, I think this is what I was trying to say before. Everything outside is just extra tools, but the way to
Mm.
do it is actually like that, just from the inside. You allow your own being to guide you because it's innate, you know. It's it,
Yeah,
it's been so clouded from the world
yeah,
eyes that we don't remember that this is actually our natural state.
and this is possible.
How we function when none of the things that are meant to be there to actually blind us.
Mm.
So if you remove all of those filters, this is actually what we do. This is how we function as spiritual beings. And the human being is such a powerful thing. We
Mm.
of the power that is inside that we don't need these extra things really. You can to improve a little bit more if you want to, but actually everything is inside. And what
Mm.
you are describing it is funny that you were talking about that, because sometimes my human mind goes like, am I being too passive? Because if I compare myself today to the person that I was before, and I think we are used to uh, showing emotions, like if you like something, you're supposed to be expressing a little more joy and excitement. And and people can see it, right? Because you're bubbling. When you're sad, equally, they can see it. And I've been observing myself, and regardless of the things happening, I keep myself in this very neutral state, but I don't over anything really. If I'm happy and if I'm sad, I mean, it's a very subtle difference. It's not this explosion anymore of
Mm-hmm.
emotions, not positive or negative. It's kind of, I don't know what it is really, but it feels like neutrality. It's okay. I'm not saying that I'm not capable of feeling joy or sadness anymore, because obviously I'm human and I'm capable of all the colors of the rainbow when it comes to emotions, but I am not overreacting
Mm.
when they come to visit me, so to speak. So I look at them, and I find that for my nervous system, that is bringing my nervous system back to a normal rhythm again.
Mm.
We're so bombarded with things from everywhere, and how you're supposed to react, how you're supposed to feel when something bad happens, how you're supposed to. I mean, we're so programmed in everything, really.
Yeah.
Everything we do is supposed to be in a certain way. That's how you do it. That's how you don't do it. And then
Yeah.
you kind of disconnect from the world a little bit, like I've been doing, like really just sitting with myself a little bit more. I'm like, that's not how I want to do it.
Mm.
Kind of reconnect with myself and my natural ways of doing things. It's all right. I mean, maybe for another person it's completely different, like you were saying before. Everybody's in a different journey, and everyone is different inside. But it's about, I suppose, I just stop following how we are supposed to exist, right? Just being, because I think there is too much doing.
Mm.
Doing is very little being. This beingness is so fulfilling. Just being.
Yeah.
Just being. Mm.
Mm-hmm. And also, it feels like we are moving more into this reality of not only being, as we said before, like there's no vocabulary for this new reality really, but not only being, but and even trusting whatever the body is doing, and letting it, allowing it to do its own thing, and then you become more and more aware of this energy being that you are, and you become more and more living as this energy in this beingness, this presence, but not only that, but also expressing that. Because there's also this clear difference of when I sing, in this human song, or when I sing a light language, which is like vibrations expressed as words that the human mind cannot comprehend, but the soul can comprehend it, the energy, we can comprehend it if we really trust it. Like, and yeah, it's like these two different realities were existing in the same time somehow, but we are more transitioning into this energy beingness.
I think we are kind of all going through it. Like I can see it, even sometimes I don't think people are aware of it.
Mm.
We all are. And being all connected, I think, in some cases is a little more obvious because a little more work has been done in removing, things we don't need, so everything can flow more freely. But I can see it, and it's quite inspiring because even though everything looks so chaotic everywhere,
Mm.
then when you sit down and you actually feel what's going on, I don't know about you, but I can feel this shift in place. And
Mm.
you can't see it yet. I don't think we can, but energetically speaking, it is something really beautiful taking place.
Yeah,
And that gives me a little bit of motivation, probably, to keep doing what we do. And like you said before, I mean, sometimes days can be so difficult that we go, oh boy, how long do
mm.
we need to endure this? It just feels sometimes like a torture.
Hmm.
There are
It's
reasons also to show up like we do sometimes, and just share what we at. And sometimes through you, it makes me feel a little bit better because you're reflecting back at me a reality that maybe in that moment I'm not seeing because I'm too clouded by my everyday things. So I can see through your eyes, and it gives me a little bit more, okay, doing good, right?
yeah, I understand you so well. It's crazy. Like I also, like, even though I work, I do soul journeys. but I also have this like you, this corporate work. It's just like going to the office, like I never thought I would do. But actually, I'm starting to, actually not, yeah, enjoy it. Like kind of when you meet this kind of people who are inspired of what to do, and it's something about learning. I'm also learning more by talking and being around people who have different experiences in life, so that I can see more this kind of, how people like this kind of different ways of living, of transitioning in this time, because it's really hard when you're aware of energy and you're doing all this sitting on the computer and making calls, and then in the same time as you're doing that work, you are
Yeah.
constantly doing energy work in the same time to kind of like keep yourself aligned and grounded in your energy, and explode energy that doesn't serve you, that's other people. And you're this is the society is putting us in the
I
situations where we're forced to be around people we don't resonate with. But yeah, anyway, it's all as it's supposed to be, but it's just crazy sometimes.
feel like a different timeline. You can actually be, from a different kind of perspective, meaning a complete different frequency,
Mm,
be part of another one, and that as well shows you a little bit of multidimensionality because you are existing almost into different
mm.
timelines. Like I can see that at work, for example, I can observe people, and I'm like, it feels like I'm a little bit outside of it and a little bit inside of it.
Me too. I also feel like that. Yeah.
It's, okay, I'm existing here and now, but at the same time, it's like I'm not.
Yeah.
And sometimes it's a struggle actually, because sometimes I can completely zoom out of the situation and be entirely in a different place, and I can get like you do as well, like downloads or whatever it is in the middle of the day. And it's difficult to combine this thing. This is why I feel the shift is coming, because now it's like trying to. It feels like one timeline is trying to kind of merge with the other one, creating a new one. But we are in the middle of all of these things, and energetically speaking,
Mm.
is really I don't even find the words for it in human kind of language, but
Yeah, because we are not here, we are not interested in changing others, even though we, or saving others, even though we do so much energy work and we are aware of this energy and we can help each other because we feel everything so intensely as these galactic beings that we are. But then it's really like it's really like the laws of the universe that every soul has chosen to go through whatever they need to go through,
and
and
that's
and
what
we
I
are
was trying
only
to say.
living our,
Totally.
but we still have to live our truth and take care of ourselves. And for that to happen, sometimes we have to be quite straightforward with our energy and have boundaries, and even more than others, maybe when you are sensitive, and explode consciously, like push out like energy that doesn't serve me to keep myself aligned. And that is actually catalyzing shifts in others, in places, in circumstances and people, not because I want to change others, but because I'm so much aligned with my truth and I have my boundaries energetically, really when I feel like I need to, at all costs, because I don't sacrifice my health, I don't sacrifice my well-being. Me having this alignment within is number one, because otherwise I cannot do anything else, I cannot be of service to this planet. So it's really triggering sometimes other people. Something is triggering them, and I don't care whatever is triggering them, but it's just funny. It's something shifting, but it's not up to me to deal
It is not
with.
us people. It's never about us triggering anyone. That people is being, I mean, someone can be triggered, but it's not by you. Whatever it is that you
Yeah.
represent in that moment reminds them of this sleeping trigger that has been there all the time, and they were trying to ignore. So whatever, you don't really trigger anyone. You just kind of
Exactly.
point the light a little bit towards, oh, there it is. Maybe you forgot something there. And they kind of, obviously, they're going to think of you as the element that is bringing this trigger up. And they're going to identify you as the problem, but you're not the problem at all.
Yeah, exactly. I'm not interested in changing
Oh,
other people. Like, live your life, do what you want. I
I
do my
think
own thing.
I'm
As
dealing
I said,
with
I take
something.
myself. If I'm
Ah,
taking care of myself is triggering you, I'm sorry, man. That's your problem.
I mean, I don't even take it personally anymore. And maybe before I would have
Oh,
thought, well,
no.
that person is like attacking me or not liking me or criticizing me. But nowadays it's like, whatever triggers people, it's not me. I now probably and having a better relationship with myself and understanding myself a little bit better as to not to take any of those things as a person.
Mm. Exactly,
Also
exactly.
see like a part of me in them, and I don't feel the need to judge or to even take it as something not nice done unto me, because I see, you know what, that person is giving me something, so I can think about how to, what about that person is triggering me when she's treating me like that, or identifying me as the problem, and why am I allowing that to be the case? And so what is taking place in there is a complete lesson for me, another one. And if I can be or shine a little bit of a light onto something that person needs to work on, then I'm really glad to do so. Even if that person doesn't like me, it doesn't really matter.
Mm.
Because for
And then
me,
it's that person's responsibility in the end if they want to take responsibility over themselves or not.
I see it as a gift. Even if it can be a little bit, like, some people can really get upset about even just my behavior. Sometimes it's just what I am. Me walking around and being who I am and doing what I do and talking the way I do can trigger someone. Am I responsible for that? Not really.
Mm-mm.
How could I be? Right? But
Yeah.
what is really important for me is I'm not going to change my truth because it's uncomfortable. Because it's easy to go, okay, I'm going to probably be a little bit more at that level so that person doesn't get triggered by me, or that person doesn't dislike me, or that person doesn't think that I'm completely this or that. Don't do that.
Mm-mm.
That takes out, this very authentic thing out of the relationship, anyways.
Exactly. Yeah.
What you want to do, I mean, let them feel whatever they need to feel. And if it's through you, well, serve them best you can. Even
Mm.
if it means taking a little bit of, heavy load on you from them, it's okay. Just obviously put your boundaries high up, because whatever it is this person is dealing with is not your job. If
Mm.
you want to in any way, do the job for them, because that will
Mm.
be even detrimental for them. So it's
Mm-hmm.
not your job. But if it happens, just say thank you. Really.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Thank
But
you, Elva. Yeah.
what were you saying? Sorry, I interrupted you there.
No, I think I interrupted you.
Right.
Actually.
I mean, this is just probably an attempt to put something out there.
Mm.
For I don't know, man, whoever is sitting thinking about these things and not being able to connect or relate to anyone, just that would be amazing.
Mm.
We go
Thank
through
you so
how
much.
lonely the journey can be, and how exhausting it can be, and how crazy you think you are the majority of the time, because the mind just doesn't follow what you're feeling and thinking, crazy stuff that can be there for you to, it's about tuning in and rediscovering yourself and remember more than anything, because like I said before, it's like we don't even remember what it means to be
The
at the
truth of
time,
ours. Yeah.
your true self. It's just been taken away from you. You don't even know how to handle that.
Exactly. The truth of our how we exist as souls has been hidden and
Mhm.
try keeps to keep on go is keeping on going of trying to keep this hidden from people. So it's we have to go inside ourselves to figure that out because we cannot find it in the system of the society. It's not
Oh, I
designed.
mean, I don't have all the answers. I mean, I'm walking the path as everyone else. This is what also is important, to create these connections and be there
Mhm.
for one another, and just be a support system.
Exactly, exactly,
It's that. It's just we need to start behaving like a collective. That's
exactly,
my idea about how to improve this world. And it's about this. It's about just connecting
exactly.
without actually. I'm not. I like to see it this way. Every time someone is with another being, is a learning teaching experience. They're both the teacher and they're both the learner. It,
Mm-hmm.
just flow continuously, and it's so beautiful. And if you understand that no one is here trying to teach you anything,
Exactly, exactly.
take away all of this. Oh, this person thinks she knows better, or oh, that person feels like, oh, she feels like she's better than me. It's not about that. I have
Mm-mm.
my struggles, you have your struggles, and it's through these connections that we actually expand a little bit more.
Yes, exactly.
And maybe I can trigger you and you can trigger me, but that doesn't take away the
That's okay.
genuine connection that
Yeah.
is underneath all of those labels and all of these outfits that we like to wear.
Yes. I think this is a perfect
And
spot.
then, right?
Thank you so much, Elva. I really appreciate you. And thank you so much for showing your light to the world by showing up here and talking with me, whoever resonates with what we have shared here.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for having this beautiful chat with me and for just allowing this beautiful connection to be there.
Yes.
And that's it. Thank you.